Hi, it's Charlie giving you Friday's live trading, and it's about 7:45, and I'm looking to go short Aussie dollar here, so I'm going to quickly get a couple of units in. So 2 units in on Aussie dollar. It's all a bit rushed or there. I've not been able to give you the analysis first. I've literally just been talking to the guys in the trading room actually, and just basically just saying good morning, and because I'm in with them this morning. And then just spotted the Aussie dollar's coming down a bit, and I can see something maybe in the bigger picture that may be building for the day on Aussie dollar. So it's got negative momentum in the background, and so I'm going to see if it can. It's not huge by the looks of things where it may want to go to, but we'll see. There's some potential. So I've got 2 units in so far. If it does do a little blip back up, then I'll get a further 2 units in. So we'll go in with full stakes today, because the stops don't have to be too wide. Be about from where we are, about 12-13 pips, and so I'll get the full 4 units in this morning if it allows me to. But overall, these markets are very, very quiet. Staying away from the euro dollar. Cable's very static, very sideways, so we can't be. The markets could move around a bit if any bits of news come out. But at least the Aussie dollar's got a little bit more direction in it. So the other two, the Aussie dollar, sorry, the euro, cable, really don't have much interest in those two. So, like I said, as I've just done, I've just put 2 units short in on Aussie dollar around where we currently are, I think, and I'm going to look to get another couple of units in if it allows. So for now, I'll just press pause. Okay, just back. I've just been eating my breakfast and chatting to the guys in the trading room. This Aussie dollar, it carried on. It did push down lower. It got down to the prior day's lows, yesterday's lows, which is a typical sort of support zone, and it's having a nice bounce off of that at the moment. So, we were up 10 pips or whatever at that point, but that was not what I was looking for as a target. And sometimes, you're looking at a market, and this is a really good example actually of how two traders could go into the same trade and have entirely different results. For example, I've got that short in here, which we got in earlier on. It's run down to the prior day's lows, down at 96, 97 zone down here. So trader A, me, elects not to take the profit today because they're trying to look at the bigger picture to see a bigger move, which is what I was looking for, down to about 85. But this is a support zone, and so I elect to pass on taking any profit there. Trader B, who takes the same trade, actually decides to take profit, or partial profit down here, although it's not a lot. They take partial profit, move their stop down to break even. By this stage, trader B has been stopped out, but has overall a small profit for the day or on that trade. Whereas trader A, me, is still sitting in the trade and potentially going to take a loss. It comes all the way back up. So it's a good scenario of how different traders trading the same things can have entirely different results. So anyway, so let's have a look at where we are on the P&Ls. So that's where we are. I mean, it's not going to be a big loss on this today. If it goes up to my stops, it'll be a couple of £100. So, but I'm giving it a go, trying to see if we can get that slightly bigger move there on this Aussie dollar. But we'll just have to wait and see now. Could it come up, stop me out up here, and then still roll over? Yes, and that is a bit of a concern. I could have put my stop higher, maybe put it up at 30, above these highs back up here. But then my risk reward is getting not so good. It would just about be okay if I had my stop up at 30, but it's not how I'd planned on taking this trade. So I'm not going to now go and change my stops. I'd rather just say, okay, look, I'll get stopped out and I'll just readdress what the markets are doing if that's the case. So because I've not looked at it in that way. But it could happen, and then still the Aussie dollar later on today rolls over. That is a potential. So we'll have to see for now, but I'll press pause and we'll come back to it. Okay, just back. It's now 10:30. I've got to head out for the next couple of hours because I've got to go and get a treatment on my back. And we've been having a good old chinwag with the guys in the trading room here this morning. And so I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but I don't know if I do this and bring it up the projection. Maybe you can see the trading room there. There's all the guys in the chat, and we've been having a bit of a giggle doing some Friday confessions and bits and pieces. Because the markets have been very dull today. Not surprising. Everyone's waiting on this Euro news. Nothing's really moving too much, so they've been very dull. So we're still sat in this Euro trade. What I need to do, I'm going out, so I need to put those limit orders in now. I was going to obviously manually close out if I would have got down there, but I need to put some limit orders in now. So that first limit order in is going to go in at 85. So I'm just going to put that in now. Let's get this sorted out. So 76.85. 76.85 is the first target, and the second target I have is down at 65. So my second target is at 65. 76.65. Right. So there we go. So I've got both the limit orders in. Oh, sorry, you probably can't quite see those. There they are. So here's all the information. So it's the original trades, short at 05s. We're 7 pips up. Wow. Anyway, there's the stops still at 17. I might have a quick look at those and just see if they can be adjusted now. Actually, I probably can. Yeah. I think we can move the stops because we've come down a bit. So let me just have a quick look here, and then I'm gonna head off. Yeah, I'm going to move this stop down. I can finally move it down to 13. So I'm going to move the stops down to 13 on this. But there's not really much more else to do. So I've got the target. Why have I got the targets there where I have? I'll just quickly go through those. But finally able to move the stop down. Not to break even or anything like that. I'm still giving it plenty of room. But you know, it's only now, if it's at 13, it's what a 8 pip stop now. So what's here on the Aussie dollar is a nice trend line off the lows. If I just bring up the pen rather than me, I've got a 4-hour chart up here, and if I can zoom it out enough, and I'll just basically manually draw it on, which is silly, I know, but there we go. So it's going across something like that. There we go, not bad. And it crosses around about 85. So I'm looking at that level as a first target. We've got the weekly lower bands down at the at 60 in the 60s, and that's why I've got that second target down in the 60s. I may adjust that target later on if I get back when I get back, but for now, those are the levels. I'm leaving the stops as it is, so I'll still potentially lose on this trade. But if it runs, then it will end up being not, something on the trade if it has a bit of a run. But slow markets so far today, so keeping it fairly low and safe as it currently stands. But I'll leave it with that. We'll come back to this in a couple of hours. My apologies. The guys in the room have just told me that while I was talking away there, I was calling it the euro. It's not. It's the Aussie dollar. So we were just talking about concentration levels as well. Anyway, I'll be back in a couple of hours. Right, just back, and we've hit the trend line. We haven't quite hit my order, so I'm about to override it. We haven't quite hit my order. I think it's probably going to get there, but I want to get that one banked. It's only a pip away, so I'm taking it. Basically, we have hit my trend line that I'm looking at off screen. So while I've been out, it's come down. I think it hit it here, and we probably are going to go there. But for the sake of a pip, I'll get that part banked on this trade. What I now need to do is to decide what to do with my stop on the remaining part of this trade. So at least it needs to now come down to break even, because we've come down far enough. And the things with the Aussie dollar here, if I look at an hourly chart, it's had a nice move down, but it's fairly steady on this hourly time frame. It'd be great if it can have that break and get down into those 76.60s, like I've got that order in down there. But just as easy, if it wants to have a retracement, it could very easily come all the way back up into 76.10s. It would be a standard sort of retracement. So I am going to trowel that stop down. Let's have a look at it. So let's get it down to 76.04. So that would then, what was my entry at 05, right? So let's get that in at 04. So whatever happens, if if it does come back up and stop me out and comes all the way up, then I'll end up making a whopping 100 and something pounds today. Now obviously I could take more off, but a bit like I was talking about this morning, I could have taken some profit off early on this morning for 10 pips back here, but we held on, and it's ultimately come good. But this is where your higher time frame analysis comes in. It's not always the case. Sometimes it is the right thing to do to take the 10 pips. It's not always the right thing to do to try and run a trade, because you just try and run all of the time, and it doesn't always work. So okay, so I've initially moved that stop down to 77.04. I could probably move it to 77.01 and just have it just above the round number, just in case it comes up to the round number. But hopefully it can carry on breaking. But it's been a very dull day. It was the right thing probably to trade Aussie dollar. I'm just looking at euro off screen. It's not done too much. It's had some moves, but again, it's overall still fairly choppy sort of price behaviour. There was a move here through this point, but overall, if I go to that hourly chart, it's just not something that I've wanted to get involved in on this euro dollar hit today. So at least the Aussie dollar's had a bit more of a move. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to move my stop down to 77.01, and there we go. And I've got that limit order at 76.65. And we'll just see where we go to from here. Hopefully it can break and can get down there, and then I'll start to trail the stop. If it breaks, if we come to the hourly chart, basically it's got a bit of support here, as we can see back from a couple of days ago. So if it can break, great, but and then I will start to trail the stop a bit. So I'll move the stop down to this sort of high here, just a sort of 97 or so, if we can start to break through, but we'll have to wait and see. So for now, it's finally just come down to those levels now anyway. Because there was only a pip in it, I didn't mind taking that profit. It was still 20 pips. So still, no, it wasn't 19 pips, wasn't it? My entry was at 05 and I come out 86.5. Right, okay, 19 pips. So, or 18.5 to be exact. Oh, is that TEF again, isn't it? Trader embellishment factor. I was embellishing that. It wasn't 19 pips, it was 18.5. We'll see where we get to, and we'll come back to this. The other thing I just want to mention is that whole delayed gratification part of trading. And sometimes, it doesn't matter if you're a day trader, it doesn't matter if you're a swing trader, there it goes, doesn't matter if you're a day trader or a swing trader, that whole sometimes you always want a trade to just, you get into it, and then if you're a swing trader, within a day it just starts going straight up and powers on through, and you're immediately into profit. And it's the same with day traders. They get into a trade, and you want it. You don't want to have to sit for a drawdown. You want it to start just running in your direction straight away. But it doesn't always happen that way, or it just takes a long time to roll towards your overall targets. And that's that delayed gratification, where we have to be able to sit on our hands, let a market do its thing until it gets to the levels we're looking for. So anyway, we'll see what happens with this. Now, this has broken down a little bit now, so it's come right down to those lows that I was just talking about. So I now can move the stop. So I'm going to move that stop down to 98 whilst we're here. So it's coming down a little bit. So trying to give it a little bit of slack. But obviously locking in gains on that, and we'll see where we get to. I better press pause because we're at 14 minutes recording. Okay, just back already, and it's started to really break down here. We're really getting close to those support levels, like I said, about 60. So I'm really going to start to aggressively trail this stop down now. So let's, as we're only a few pips away from that level. So let's get this stop really dragged down now. So it's going to be down to the high of the last bar, which is about 77 or so. I'll double check that in a second. We're at 69. Remember 65 I think is that target area. Yeah, about 77, so we're getting there. And I was literally just going to go off and get a shower, but come in and literally come on the mic and from the gym. So it's just a case of seeing where we can get there. We're sitting on a load of support from on the daily pivots, so we are about there. But I'm just going to see if we can get down to that level. So. And now I've come on the mic, it probably won't. It'll go shy now, you see. So I've really trailed that stop down now. So it's in that aggressive mode. When you start going into this sort of mode, then we don't know how much further it's going to go. And quite often you get another big candles come through. So hopefully we can get those. But and it can carry on pushing. It's I'm just going to double check its momentum. Momentum's all still fine. Been good all day. Momentum looks good. So hopefully we can get an extension here, but it is against a load of supports at daily S2, just overriding it a little bit. So we'll see if it can just get those extra few pips out of it. But what I am doing is aggressively trailing that stop now. So and on the close of this bar, I would be looking to move that stop down even more. Just literally looking for the excuses to trail it all the way down. It's into that zone like I was talking about. 65 is what I was looking for. We are 3 pips away from my target. That's it. And really, from a risk to reward perspective, remember I risked initially this morning, the stop was at 17 and about 12 pips, 13 pips, to make now 40 pips on this second half. And it was 20 pips or 18 and a half, sorry. Trade embellishment factor again on that first half. So it really doesn't matter. My risk reward on the trade is overall good, so it doesn't matter where I get stopped out really. So if I'm going to be aggressively managing it just for those extra couple of pips, but I know that we're right there at supports. But at the same time, momentum's growing to the downside. You know, if I had a much bigger view, then potentially maybe it can go even lower. But I don't. So I'll take it for the 40 pips if I can get them, or thereabouts. So like I said, I've got the stop at 77. So locking in 30 pips on this move. We'll just see if it can have that final push, or if it's going to come up and blip up and nick me out. So I'll press pause for now. Right, just back. We've had another little candle. I'm going to aggressively move this stop down now to this high, which is just a couple of pips away. Really trying to just stay on top of this now. I want to bank all of this. We're right on top of my limit order anyway, so just a couple of pips away, and we'll see if we can either get there or if it comes back up to just literally trailing the stop bar by bar, and see if it's going to go the 2 pips down or just a few pips up. Either way, makes no difference now. It's been ended up being an okay trade, considering it was such a quiet day today. I'll take that with just a 2-lot trade. It was more than enough pips, and sometimes it demonstrates. And funny enough, actually, yesterday I was trading and talking to the guys in the trading room about a trade that I'd done, or did 2 trades yesterday, 1 in the morning and 2 in the morning actually, and 80 pips I took out of those. But there were small lot trades. There were, like, one was a 1-lot trade on this account, and one was a half-lot trade on this account, and yet it made a really a nice, comfortable profit for the day. And so it just proves that sometimes if the market's there, if the pips are there, you don't have to be trading huge size to get your profit targets. So anyway, I'll press pause again for now. We're still not quite there. Yeah. Okay, so we're at 65. Right on my limit order. It needs to go. There we go. 64. There we go. It's hit. So finally done it. So there we are. I can get rid of all of this now. So we banked just under $600 today, £374 offer. Just a 2-lot trade, not bad, but it took a lot of patience, that one today, from getting in fairly early this morning, about 7:30 I think it was this morning, the original entry. Didn't bother entering any more positions when it came back up. In fact, at one point I thought it might actually come up and stop me out. It was allowed to do a higher retrace, but we were lucky that it didn't. And it's just been meandering and slow, so we've just left those 2 units all the way. So it's finally got there. So there's 2 exits, one at the trend line and one at my lower weekly bands on my bands. So in the end, it's not been a bad one. Although who knows, maybe this Aussie's going to carry on going lower now. But I think we'll take that. It was still a good risk to reward trade. So I thought this was going to be a shorter video update this week. Unfortunately for you, it's 20 minutes. I'll leave it at that. Have a great weekend, and back in touch next week.